everyone, welcome back to the Book Cave with me, Jenny. So today I have some suggestions for lesser known, underhyped YA books from the early to mid 2000s. And I have, I believe, 6 series here. And I will start with The Lux by Anna Godberson. This is a 4-book series. The first one, obviously, is The Lux, and it was published in 2007. Then book 2 is Rumors. Book 3 is Envy. And book 4, the final book, is Splendor. And this one was published in 2010. So this series follows, obviously, some young women. They are rich young women in Manhattan, 1899. And it starts out, you follow the sisters Elizabeth and Diana Holland. And this is obviously a historic series. It's partially romance, partially mystery, partially kind of like high society. And I honestly really enjoyed it. I did feel like it was one of those YAs that was not super YA because they are on the older edge. They're like 17 or 18. And there's not really any like school or anything. And I feel like they don't act super young. They do act kind of young, but not super young. But yeah, this was one that I really enjoyed. This is the only actual like new copy that I have. The other 3 I got from the library for like 50 cents a piece because that's how I originally read it. And then I saw it a couple years later and said, you know, I really want to reread that. And so I grabbed those 3, and with the gift card I got for my birthday, I got the first one. I also have the Uglies series by Scott Westerfield, which is Uglies, published in, let me see here, published in 2005. Then we have Pretties, and we have Specials, which was the last one, and this one was published, if I can find the right page, this one was published in 2006. I didn't realize they actually came out that close together. And then we have Extras, which came out later, and actually, okay, that was only 2007. I thought it was further than that. So this original trilogy follows Tally Youngblood and Shay, I cannot recall her last name. And they are in a dystopian world where basically everyone is ugly until they're 16. Then they have surgery to become pretties. And then Specials is a whole nother thing that you get into later on. But yeah, I really enjoyed this trilogy. I felt like it was a really interesting dystopia, and these are, you know, a nice little size and everything. I feel like they were very well written. There was a lot of, you know, commentary, a lot of friendships, a lot of action, a lot of world building in these as well. Then Extras follows Aya Fuse, and this is basically after everything Tally went through in the first 3 books, and she lives in the aftermath of that. And you kind of get to see how exactly Tally changed everything and how it affects those who, I suppose, yeah, she would have grown up knowing this, about this, but this also takes place in a different area of the world than Uglies, and you find out that like the whole world isn't like Uglies, it's just that one specific place where they are required to do the surgeries. And this one has some different commentary to make. But again, it was really good. It was really interesting. I didn't get a hold of this one until much later. That's why I thought it came out so much later. But yeah, again, you know, early 2000s. Also by Scott Westerfield, we have the Leviathan series, which is Leviathan, published in... Published in 2009. Then Behemoth as book 2. Book 3 is Goliath, and this one was published in 2011. And then there is a companion book that I highly recommend, and that is the Manual of Aeronautics. It's a very small little book, but the fun thing is it's illustrated, and it has, like, these are all cross sections of the ships. And yeah, I highly recommend this little book to go with it, because it is just such a cool addition to the series. So this series is a steampunk retelling of World War I. We are following Alec, who is a prince without a throne, and Darren, a girl disguised as a boy in the British Air Service. So in this world, World War I is not between the Allies and the Axis, but rather between the Darwinists, who Darren is a part of, and the Clankers, who Alec is, well, supposedly a part of. He's on the run from his own people for reasons. So basically, in this, the Darwinists have taken for their airships, instead of it being a Zeppelin, it is a genetically modified whale that produces hydrogen in its gut. The Clankers, or Axis powers, have went full steam powered, and they have mechanized everything. This one is, again, obviously very action-packed, and another very cool thing about this series is, again, it has some illustrations in here, and I believe each book has one, like, 2-page spread. But yeah, this is very fascinating, and again, I absolutely loved it when I read it. I would say this one is maybe slightly younger than Uglies, but more so in that I feel like the motivations and like whether the characters are good or evil is much more clear-cut in this one than it is in Uglies, and it's also a more straightforward series. Another historic series I have is His Dark Assassin by Robin Lefevers. It starts with Grave Mercy, which was published in 2012. Then it goes on to Dark Triumph. And the final book is Immortal Heart. And this one was published in 2014. So I do believe this is the most recent of this whole series, like all the books that I have here. And so this series is set in, I believe, like the 1800s or so. I'm sorry, in 15th century, Kingdom of Brittany. And it follows 3 different girls who have all been touched by the god of death in one way or another. And so they all go to this convent and learn to be assassin nuns. So your first one follows Ismay, who is 17 and looking to escape an arranged marriage. Then Dark Triumph follows Sabella, and I believe Sabella is the same age. And this one is much, much darker. The stuff Sabella has went through is heavy, very, very heavy. So this one is one that I feel like a lot of people might want to skip. And then Mortal Heart follows Enith, and she is one of the younger ones in the convent, and she is also kept kind of sheltered. And so throughout all of these, there is the war between Brittany and France kind of brewing and going on through these. I would say these are very atmospheric. And if you like the Gothic, then you would definitely like this series. Again, it is a little on the darker side. I feel like this is, again, a much higher YA level, you know, closer even to maybe like new adult as 19 or 20. Another dystopian series I have is the Chemical Garden trilogy by Lauren De Stefano. It starts with Wither, which was published in... This is kind of different, the way it all connects. It's going to take me a second here. When was it published? This was published in 2011. Then the second book is Fever. And the third book is Sever. And this one was published in 2013. So this series is set in a world where women will die at age 20 and men will only live until 25. And so the people, well, it's this generation, her generation. And so the older people are trying to find a cure for this. And the way they do that is by kidnapping the other kids. So yeah, obviously that's kind of like an out there thing. But this is Rhine is the girl. And then she has a brother, a twin brother. But it mostly follows Rhine. And the main thing I like about this is not the plot or the characters. This is very heavy on purple prose. So if you don't like purple prose, you probably won't like this series because that is literally all it has going for it. But it kept me captivated throughout this whole series. The final series I have for you is Prophecy of the Sisters, which starts with Prophecy of the Sisters, published in 2009. Guardian of the Gate is book 2. And the final book is Circle of Fire. And this one was published in 2011. So this series follows twin sisters Leah and Alice. And their family has a prophecy that whenever twins are born, one will be the gate to basically bring about Armageddon, and the other will be the guardian who is trying to stop the gate from being opened. And there is a slight twist to this that you find out pretty early on. This is, again, a very gothic one. This one I feel like has more magic in it, is kind of more fantastic. So that was 6 underrated YA series from the early to mid 2000s. I do have one more video planned of this that will have 7 more series, specifically 7 series that I borrowed from the library that also fit this bill. And again, I always love to hear from y'all down in the comments. Have you read any of these series? Did you enjoy them? What did you think of the Uglies movie, if you saw it? I know it very recently got a movie that I have heard not so great things about, so I'm interested to see what you all might think about that. What are some of your underrated series? I'd love to know that as well. As always, if you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button, and also hit the bell button to subscribe so you'll never miss another video that I post. And I will see you next time in the book cave.